Yeah, hold on a minute here. This is not quite right. All right, so can you hear me here in YouTube? Let me see. All right, so can you hear me here in YouTube? Let me see. All good. Okay. All right, so can you hear me here in YouTube? Let me see. All good. Okay. All right, so can you hear me here in YouTube? Let me see. All good. Okay. All right, so can you hear me here in YouTube? Let me see. All good. Okay. All right, so can you hear me here in YouTube? Let me see. All good. Okay. All right, so can you hear me here in YouTube? Let me see. All good. Okay. All right. Well, welcome everybody to the webinar. Welcome everybody to the webinar. I'm sorry, I just had an issue there. All right, so we're all good to go now. So today we have Fausto Pugliese, a stocks trader. We've had him several times over here at Bookmap. Great story about Fausto. I actually met him quite a while ago here in New York City. He was trading at the Money Show here. It must have been like, I don't know, 15 years ago or something. He won the contest with the scalping contest, or the live trading contest. It's not scalping, but anyway, he won it like a string of years in a row. And then, you know, I met him and I spoke with him, but many years later, he came across our platform, and I was working with Bookmap, and then he reached out, and I kind of explained that I met him before, and he loved the platform and got into it and what it's showing, and it fit his style really nicely. And now he uses it all the time. So it's really nice. It's a pleasure to have him here. Yeah, he's been trading for quite a while here. I gave a kind of funny background story there. But since 1990s, he's been trading. This I'm not going to read the whole thing here, but he does offer mentorship and education. I'm going to put the links here into the chat so you can click right on them and go to his areas. He also offers specials on Bookmap with the affiliate link down here. That will be in the chat as well. All right, so got to go through some disclosures here, and then we will jump right in. And just in case Fausto is going to be trading, if he is, I got to read the disclosure here for that, just the two paragraphs here, and just to understand what you're getting involved in. General disclosure: all Bookmap limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Live trading is in simulation, demo, paper trading mode, and strictly for educational purposes. Live trading executed in simulation cannot accurately represent realistic trading performance. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. An investor could potentially lose all or more than the initial investment. Risk capital is money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security nor lifestyle. Only risk capital should be used for trading, and then only those with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay, with all of that said, let's go in here and hold on. Okay, sorry about that. And let's get Fausto's screen up. Okay, Fausto, I think you're good to go.
All right. Could everybody hear me loud and clear?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Thanks, everybody. Well, thanks for having me again, Bruce. It's always a pleasure. And yeah, that's a really, really great story you mentioned. For doing it for so long, you know, I've trained thousands of people over the years, tens of thousands. And you always, eventually, if you love and have a passion to trade, you end up just finding somebody. And if they're still around, obviously, until today, I mean, obviously, they're doing something right. And I have a passion to teach people how to trade in a way, because trading, you got to know how to play the game. And when it comes to trading, people fail, they blow up their accounts, and because they have the wrong tools. And, you know, the funny story, like about Bookmap, to give everybody a heads up. For being a trader for so many years, I mean, I get people always want me to endorse their stuff. Always ask me, say, Fausto, can you could you look at my new platform? Could you endorse my brokerage firm account? This and that. Here's another indicator, and I'm like, it's nothing compared to what Bookmap is all about. So I was absolutely no fan, and just to let everybody know, no fan of knowing anything about Bookmap, because I thought it was just another program came across, and it was just so happened one of my students, one of my most successful students in my trading room, says, Fausto, no, you seriously have to check this platform out. It's everything that you teach. And I looked at it, and at first I took a glance at it, and I'm like, this can't be doing what I think it's doing. And then my other instructor is, oh, no, it's doing it. He's like, nah, nobody could have built this thing. I've been trying to do this for such a long time. I'm not a programmer or whatever, but like, and he's like, oh, no, it's doing it all right. And sure enough, I fell in love with it and can't trade without it. So I'm going to talk about a couple of strategies, how I use it, because, with the history about me, to let you all know, I'm one of the original Souls Bandits that started back in the early 90s. That's basic. And I used to trade on level 2, then obviously got obsolete. I actually work very closely with NASDAQ. I'm actually working with their designers tomorrow to help to redesign their book viewer. But at the end of the day, I just love this product. Now, for some of you here, I know we have some advanced traders, I know we have some other traders that trade different types of markets, the futures, cryptos, and so on. So I don't use all the tools on it. Basically, what I like to do is kind of just have a little bit of a game plan to know where the buyers and sellers are. And, and it's all about just knowing where to find them and all that. So let me just jump right into and change the slide here, and I'll give you a couple examples what I do. So anyway, today we were trading a stock called CHIP. Now, if anybody was watching the news yesterday, President Biden went down to Michigan, and we all know, their whole agenda is everyone's got to get an electric car. Even California is banning people in the next 10 years that you can't buy a gas car anymore. You got to use electric. There's not one problem with that. There's two problems. First problem is you got to get everybody to buy it because they're not cheap. But the second biggest problem is where are they going to charge them, right? You can't sell gas-powered cars without gas stations, right? So Chip got a lot of publicity from it then because he said something like, we need charging stations for these companies. I'm like, oh, yeah, no duh. That sounds like a good idea. So Chip actually was doing pretty well the last couple of days. And you could see how the stock had a really nice push. Now, the reason why I bring this up, okay, I'm not looking to get political or anything like that because in the trading business, we're all the same party, and it's the party of making money and trading. But when you have a president like that talk about something, he does have the power of the pen. He also has the power of, writing, contributing money to certain things. And it's going to make stocks move. And we've seen that, even what's happened with Powell, with inflation and all that. But the reason why I'm pointing a little bit more time to this one, because as if we're looking right this moment in time, which I'm going to share to you, this stock, as well as the news is, and we all know we have some great news on company, this stock has a major resistance levels at $20. Now, when you look at this screenshot that I'm showing you right here, you could see that there was a 137,000 share seller right around 20. That another 44,000 share seller at 19. Now, the way you use Bookmap, the way I use it, is this gives you a game plan. You see, unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there that lose a lot of money in trading. And the reason why a lot of people lose money in trading is because they're working on the past. They're looking at indicators, looking at Bollinger Bands, MACDs, Fibonacci's, moving averages, RSIs. I can go on and on and on and on and on. And I'm just telling you right now, I don't use any of those things. Why? Because I'm a day trader. And it doesn't work for day trading. What works for day trading is orders. And what you're looking at right here is you're seeing orders. So, and like if you own the stock out of the gate, we're looking at right here. You can see that the stock started at $9.30 or at $18. Like it or not, whatever you feel about the product, or fan of charging stations, electric cars, knowing like, oh yeah, this could be the next vaccine stock, like a Moderna, could have, oh, it's going to go like to 500. Yeah, okay, great. It could happen. And you know what? There's only one problem. There are always people looking to try to sell. And if you look at this order right here, you got a 44,000 share seller at 19. You got another 134,000 share at 20. So in theory, if you're going to be getting out of a stock, your game plan is you got 19. You actually got some at 1950. Then you got one at 20. Well, I'm going to bring over Bookmap right here. All right, and I'm going to share you my screen right here. Here's Bookmap, okay? And this is what the stock did right now. Stock had a nice push. It broke through 19, which the seller we saw, went past the 1950, and that other seller that we saw at 20 is still out there. Not only out there, if you scroll to the right, there's 281,000 shares out there as this moment right now. Now, like it or not, hope all you want. This stock will not go a single penny higher unless one or two things have to happen. That seller, someone has to buy it. By the way, that's not one seller. That's several different sellers. Or two, he has to cancel. And they all have to do it together. Now, if I go over here and I want to bring up my execution system, let me bring that up over here. Let me just share that right here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is you could see here over the course of the day, I have no indicators, right? It's just flat out just support and resistance. You can see how the stock, since this morning, is having a major problem getting even near that 20. When you come over here on the long-term chart, look what we have here. If I draw a trend line, here it is right there. I went to 20, and if you look right here, you will notice that there is a higher right here. Oops. You got resistance levels right here. You got support levels there. You have support levels there. You have support levels here. You have resistance levels here. You have resistance levels here. And what do you know? You're going to have a resistance levels there. So, yes, history has a funny way of repeating itself, okay? But you have to all understand also, you cannot have a resistance level unless those sellers are still out there. So regardless of the past, you could sit there, oh, yeah, the stock has resistance at 20. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. But can we break through 20? Sure we could. It happens all the time. I got a couple of slides to show you that. But at this moment in time, that 280,000 share seller has nothing to do about the past other than the future. Maybe it was the people in the past. Maybe it's program trading. Maybe it's algorithms, whatever it is. But that right there, my fellow traders, is a real order. And like it or not, no matter how much you think or a fan of charging stations or love the stock, it is not going past this stock unless that 281,000 share seller is getting out there. And what makes this so pretty is that look how predominant it is. I mean, we had other stocks that we traded too, by the way, and you can see them up here. Beats was pretty good today. That stock had a good gap up. But when you look at the overall chart, this is what kind of gets confusing, and this is why people get lost. They want to look up stocks that they traded. They want to say, "Oh, what's Amazon doing? What's Apple doing?" Or you keep looking at the same stock over and over again. And if you look at something, it starts looking very, colorful, right? You got a lot of yellows, you got a lot of blues, you got a lot of greens, you got a lot of blacks. But when you look at this, it's almost like black and white. And not only that, but if you see how the color got redder and darker and bloodier, that means he was adding and adding to the position. It's almost like common sense. Now, I traded the stock. I made money on it this morning. I love the news that came out on it. But you know what? If I didn't get out of it, yes, the stock dropped. I sold it pretty much where I sold it this morning. And let me tell you, I'm still a buyer in it, but I refuse to buy it until somebody gets past 20. Because I know if it gets past 20, then we could see the stock hit like 25, 27, maybe even 30. That is a major, major resistance. Now, sorry if I'm taking a little bit more time spending, showing you this, but to do that, I really have to kind of show you more and more of it happening over and over again. All right. So now let's go back to our slides, and let's go look over here a little bit. And this is basically chip over and over and over again of the slide, but kind of pretty much talked about it. Now let's talk a little bit about another stock, IC. Now another thing to let you know, I don't care what I trade, and it doesn't really matter. Why are we all here? Make money. That's it, right? So to make money, what you're looking for is iceberg orders. And you're looking for stocks that have good volatility, stocks that are breaking higher highs, higher lows. Now here IC, same thing. Stock had a really nice push, started around 9:30, you could start seeing the lines very, very clear on the Bookmap. Major resistance levels at 1351, and you got a more major one at 14. Now envision that you're looking at like a building, like you're in a floor and ceiling, right? So these colors are basically the floors and ceilings. If you break through a ceiling, there's your next ceiling. If you break through a floor, there's your next floor. It's like it's giving you these trend lines. Right? Now the big thing, what's nice about the Bookmap, which you don't get with other platforms, and this is why I love it so much, is it aggregates all the exchanges. You see, I do a lot of presentations for NASDAQ, and I talk about their order book. Problem with that book is only one thing. You're only seeing one market. What's happening on the New York Stock Exchange? What's happening on the EGGX? What's happening on other ECNs? So this aggregates more orders than one. So that's another advantage you're getting with this. All right, and also it's kind of also on putting on the heat map where you could see how long he's been out there, how long he's been holding there. So you're getting a lot of that great data out there. And the other good feature that I look at it is just like what you see here in IC, which hasn't happened with CHIP yet, is that and stock breaks resistance levels all the time. How do we know that? Well, with the Bookmap, you could see are those sellers getting executed. And you could see how they broke out and how that order got done. It went through that 14, and now we're testing a new seller, which is at 1435, which is 21,000, which you could see it right there. So what's the whole part about this? Having a game plan, And you know what? If those sellers get done and they gets broken through that seller resistance, guess what? It's going to check the next resistance. And next thing you know it, you're going from 14 up to 15. And why didn't go to 16 or 30 or whatever? Because you are always going to have these iceberg orders, which is what I call, at those price levels. Let's go jump over here on another stock we traded, REVN. Now, when you listen to these stocks, like, oh, yeah, I heard about REVN, pretty cool truck. I don't know if I could afford it, some of us are saying, but, one of the more newer pickup electric trucks out there. Now, forget about the story. Who cares about the story? All I care about is making money, right? If the stock is in my big percentage gainers, I'm going to trade it. But I'm not going to trade it if other traders are not pushing it up or pushing it down. And when you look at a stock like RIVN, look how the stock, beautiful trend in the middle of the day, $38.12. And in a matter of an hour, boom, you're at 39. And you could see that seller at 39 has been out there since the day started. And by not knowing that he was out there and had a substantial amount of shares, where you have people out there buying 100 shares, 300 shares, you're talking 25,000. It might not sound a lot like I showed you on the chip with 280,000, but 25,000 on the average, what you're seeing out there, it's probably, I don't know, maybe almost 50, 100 times more than the norm of every other order out there. Because if you didn't know how to get out of it and you didn't see that resistance, you took a winner and you just converted to a loser. And then make it not even to a worse loser. Now, look, the thing dropped all the way down to about 27.80. The big thing that I kind of teach with my traders And I kind of teach the opposite what most people trade. Everyone wants to hear about the winners, right? Everybody talks about, hey, what did you trade? I feel like I'm at the racetrack. What are you betting on today? Where do you think it's going to, you know what? You know how you make money in the market? It's not about winners. It's about controlling losers. That's how you become a good trader. You're going to lose. Did anyone ever teach you how to stop losing money? Everyone's like talking about, hey, look what I trade, this and that. But at the end of the day, I don't know where you bought these stocks. I don't know where you got in. I can tell you, listen, I could be the greatest captain in the world. I mean, I'm a big fisherman. I love fishing. It's one of my hobbies, including gardening. I even started my own home living channel, believe it or not. Fausto Home Living. You can watch it on YouTube. I think you'll get a kick at it. But, listen, it's what you do when you're, 50 years old and you got a lot of free time on your hands. But, like, one of my biggest hobbies is I like to fish. And I know where the fish are. I know how to catch the fish. But I'm not going to go there and catch it and give it to you. What do I get to do that for? I can just keep it myself. People ask me, hey, you're such a great trade. Could you trade my money? I'm like, no, why would I do that? Go do it yourself. I'm not going to be right all the time. You want to learn how to do it. I can't feed you, I can't feed you a fish a day. You got to, if I teach you how to fish, I feed you for life. You heard that, it's in the Bible. So in trading, same thing. You got to learn how to take losses. You got to know when you made a mistake, how to get out of it and the way you do that is by knowing where are the iceberg orders, where are these block orders. Here's another stock, very cool stock. I love Carvana. This stock, do you believe it or not, was $350. It went all the way down to $39. Could you imagine those poor fellas that own that stock at $350? Well, and I know some of you here are going to be like, oh, but yeah, the news. Yeah, you know what? If you had the stock at 300 and you bought it at 200, you thought you got a good deal because of the news. Well, it's not looking too good right now. How would you have known it's going to continue to go lower? Orders kept pushing it down. And not only that, but if you look right here, you'll see that these orders on the bid kept getting filled over and over and over again. And you know what? You saw that big order at 39. He got filled. Now, what that tells me there, you probably would say, oh, that was probably a breakout, right? Well, no. What probably he did in that situation is he bought it. He went long. He went out to buy it. No one sold to him, and he probably went into the offer, and he started spying it from the sellers. So guess what? That could happen. All of a sudden, a buyer could be a market order, and if he had all those shares as a market order, yeah, if you wonder how it went up so fast, he's the one that did that. And on the Bookmap with the bulls and the all those orders, you could see that. And if you're not using the right execution system, time and sales, you wouldn't see that either. Now, does this work for brand name stocks? Absolutely. It doesn't work as good that I find on ETFs because it's kind of messy. But on like some brand name stocks, you could see it, just like you see this 70,000 share buyer that showed up on Amazon, boom, right there. And then, sure enough, once he showed up, he came over here, even I hit 34.60. You can see how the stock shot up to 135.90. So you could see it, same exact thing. Buyer out there wasn't getting filled, so I didn't want to hit the offer. I mean, the more you look at this, and the more you understand, and oops, sorry about that. Hold on. That was that audio you just heard was that that was our 2:30 meeting in our cyber group room. Which, by the way, I'm going to invite every single one of you to come join that room. I think you all need to see this live because how we trade in the market hours. So that's the benefit that you're going to get by being here. But the more you look at this platform, the more you're almost realizing that you're reading the future. I mean, reading the future, seeing when those orders are, how long they've been out there. And another thing I want to point out, because I know we have some pretty advanced Bookmap traders in here, and you probably use this platform with more features than I could even imagine on it. It does have a lot of great features, but for some of you that are beginners, maybe watching on YouTube right now and figuring out, is it for me, is it not for me? If you just what I like to do is just try to kind of do this webinar to keep it simple for you, because the more you look at it and the more you read charts and then you take what you learn in charts and apply it to this, it's teaching you the future. It's teaching you the future. Those beautiful red and yellow lines and seeing the consistency, how long they are, kind of tells you everything. And the beauty about these charts is that we know breakouts. We hear about short squeezes. How do you know it's a short squeeze? I'm going to have to teach you that. I mean, we had a stock just how was it? Was it like a couple of days? Well, actually, it's doing it today, too. Very volatile stock. What was it? It was HKD. That's it right there. I'm going to bring this up over here and show you what I'm talking about. This stock, HKD, went from, hopefully everybody could see this. This stock started right around $30, went all the way up to about 2,500. Yeah, that really actually happened. And then it dropped all the way back down to about 190, and then went all the way back down to 60. So, but that's not really what I want to show you. What I want to show you is this right here. So this stock, as of yesterday, went from $60 all the way to 140, all the way up to 280, and then today it went from 280 and shot up all the way to 380. So, I mean, this is a pretty extreme volatile stock, but these stocks do exist. And, how did it go up and down? Follow the orders. Now, there are a lot of stocks that moved in the market, and for some people are probably asking me, how do you find these stocks? Well, listen, it's not no big secret. See this right here, the top 20? Let me tell you the 3 strategies that I was taught that you will learn at Cyber Trade University. I want everybody to write this down. Letter T, and the letter T. The 3 T's. And what those T's stand for is this. First T is called tradable. Second T is called trend. And the third T is called trap. First T, what that means is that we're trying to find stocks that are tradable. What that means is we're trying to find stocks that have very good spreads, nice tier sizes, nice volatility, nice movement in the market. That's what we're looking for. Trying to find stocks that, like this stock up 21%, 20%, 64%. That's what we're looking for, stock that we can get in and out of it without losing a big spread. Second T is the trend, which is everybody uses. What is the chart doing? Is it making higher highs? Is it making lower lows? And the third T is Bookmap. Seeing where the trap is, seeing where people are looking to get in and where people are looking to get out. Those are the big 3 T's that I was trained over 30 years ago. And these are the 3 T's that I want to leave you off with to be successful when it comes to trading, because following that money is what's going to help you become a better trader. And not knowing where those support and resistance levels, you know what? You could sit there and analyze that all you want. But if the stock is not tradable, hey, that stock I told you just a minute ago, HKD, let me just bring it up one more time, if you don't mind. HKD, I want you to look at this right here. HKD. Go to level 2 right here. You see the spread on this stock? 151, 155, 156, wherever it is, 160. To buy 100 shares of that stock, you're going to already be down $400. How many of you here could trade something and automatically take a hit of $400 without making a penny? I mean, like, not too many. I mean, some of you might. Some like, you know what? I might consider trading a stock like this instead. $2 stock, penny spread, it moves 20, 30, 50 cents. I could buy several thousand shares of it. Less risk, more reward. But to get to the support and resistance levels, to get to see where Bookmap is going to help you give you that game plan, that you could throw out the window, because once you buy a stock, you're already a loser. So there's also another thing that happens I want to talk about, is that have you ever been in a trade and as soon as you bought the damn thing, it tanks on you and you're like, oh my God, why me? Why's it got to tank on me? Like, then you're like, I got to sell, right? I can't afford to lose it. You know, that's the dumbest mistake you can make. Listen, the stock's not going to 22 to 0, okay? There are times where it just so happens you're in a bad place in a bad time. So there are always going to be buyers and sellers. Like here you have ALT. Stock took a big hit, came back down, came to a big buyer out here. And I don't want to sound like a broken record, but it ends up being a broken record, because here you have buyers at $16,000 at $10, and you can see how the stock went up. If you didn't see that and didn't have that game plan, and if you bought a stock and it took a big hit, like, let me just bring this up, ALT, because it was from yesterday. The ALT got a gap down and went from 21 all the way down to 11. You're like, oh my God, I can't afford this loss. I got to get out. Yeah, you know what? Look where it went to. Went right back to 16. Why? Because the buyers kept showing up and says, oh, damn, that's a screaming buy. I'm getting a 50% deal on that. Meanwhile, you're taking a 50% haircut. What caused it? Buyers. Listen, there are stocks in everything. AMD, pop, big pullback. You know what happened? Huge iceberg orders showed up. Look at that big, nice, pretty, fat red line. Does it need to be any more predominant than that? But we've seen AMTD run in the past too. And we've seen this stock go from, $2 all the way to 14. Let me repeat that. 2 to 14? Is that even possible? Yeah, all the time. And who drove it? Buyers. How do you see those buyers? On the Bookmap. And that is why when I trade, I can't trade blind without it. Now, where I come into, now listen, I'm not here to sell Bookmap in a way of you got to buy it, buy it, buy it. And this goes with any platform. You could buy whatever you want, but if someone doesn't teach you how to use it, listen, I could tell everybody here and convince the hell out of you why owning a car is a great thing. If I took a 16-year-old kid and threw him in the car without teaching him how to drive it, what do you think's going to happen? You ever drive around with it? You ever try to teach someone how to drive? I got 3 boys. Scariest situation I felt in my life. It's the first place you go, in a parking lot. Empty parking lot, right? You think it's okay to just throw him in the middle of the city? Boom, accident. God forbid he kills himself. So you could do a lot of harm to yourself just jumping in the market. It's a 90% failure rate. Are you part of 90%? I know I don't. But to be successful, you got to learn how to play the game. And by using these tools and understanding where those support and resistance levels are, who's those support and resistance levels, are they getting executed, is going to give you a fighting chance. You see, the hardest thing to teach when it comes to trading, fellow traders, it's not about finding them. It's not about using and understanding Bookmap. It's about discipline. It's about not being greedy. It's about knowing how to take a loss. And that's where it comes down to it. So when it comes to trading, if you like trading, that's great. But to like it, you got to be successful. Listen, when I started, I blew up 2 accounts. Now, I should have learned my lesson on my first account. You know what I mean? But on my second account, you still didn't learn your lesson. Well, the reason for that is because I knew that I could do this. The problem is I didn't have the right person to teach me how to do it. And not only that, but what made me successful is that you have to surround yourself with good traders. You can't just go out there and just sign up for some newsletter or some platform. You need a team. And you need a good team. You don't want to hang out with a bad team. You end up being bad. Like me with my Jets. I'm a Jet fan. I don't even follow football. Nobody feel bad for me? Oh, my God. Terrible. I want to be on a winning team. Well, you know what? That's just sports. This is money. This is your future. How many of you here want to go back to work? Now they're forcing everybody after COVID's over. How many of you here are just about to retire? Now you have your IRA. We think you're going to live off that? You got to build on it. Money can go. You could lose that money in a few moments. A couple of bad trades. So what I'm looking to do is this. Bruce had me here to come here to speak to you all because he knows me very well. He knows my reputation. And I know a lot of you here probably do your homework. Listen, doing it for 30 years, have a 5-star rating on Google, have a AAA rating at the Better Business Bureau, being endorsed by every brokerage firm in the industry, including exchanges. I must be doing something right. But the thing I do, what's right, is I don't tell anyone how to buy and sell. I teach you how to stop losing. And stop losing is having a game plan. So if you like to know more about Bookmap, if you want to see me trade live in the market, this is what I'm looking to do. I want to invite every one of you to come to my trading room. I want to give you a week access. Now, I don't know who you are, where you came from. I don't know anything about you. And I'm not going to let anybody in my room come in there, without coming through my borders. Okay? So all I'm asking you is this. $9 trial fee. I know it's cheap. I know it's ridiculous. People are like, why don't you just give it to me for free? Because you know what? For you to go out of your way, it lets me know if you're going to make a commitment or not. I'm looking for serious traders, and this is the deal. If you don't want to, after a week being in the room and watching us use Bookmap and showing you how we trade pre-market and aftermarket, if you don't like it, I'll give you $9 back. So I'm just looking for it. All you got to do is go to ctu.co.trial. And by the way, this is what you're going to get, okay? We're open at 7:45 Eastern in the morning to 4:30 in the afternoon. You're going to get a daily watch list. You're going to get live workshops. You're going to get traders work. You're going to get 3 pro workshops. Traders Talk archives. I'm also going to throw in my book that you're going to get. We're going to send that to you. It's a $47 value. You could buy it on Amazon. I don't know about you, but I'd pay $9 and get it for free. And also, for the first 20 people that register, I'll even give you a coaching class. Why would Fausto even consider doing that? Listen, I need to interview you, okay? I'm not going to just throw you in the wolves and think that you're going to teach you how to trade. I got to make sure that you're qualified, Listen, I know some of us here own businesses. You're not going to, hire someone that doesn't know what he's doing. It'll end up cost you money, or maybe you lose your company. So the $9 that we're asking for is a small donation towards your application to give you access to the room so you can have access to us so we know you're real. And if it's not for you, we'll give you money back. And I'm going to basically cover all these things. All right? Now, what I'd like to do right now is, like I said, if you have any questions, can't really see any chat in there, but Bruce, maybe you could read them off to me if there is anything. But if anyone has any questions, this is the best time to ask that for them. If not, go to their site, register for it. Oh, and one other thing, too. When you register, very important, there is going to be a questionnaire. Please tell us a little bit about you. How much money are you trading with? Do you have Bookmap right now? Or any ECN book. NASDAQ total view. How many trades you're doing? Are you making money? Are you losing money? The more you tell us about us, about you, the more we can help you with your future in today's markets. So once again, $9. You want to go next to a 12-time champion, very well known in the industry, into a live trading room, see us use the Bookmap platform. Here's your chance. Now, Bruce, are you there, Bruce?
Yeah.
Do we have any? I really can't see any, but is there any questions?
No questions. I wanted to mention though something like no, it looks like someone's just joined you. Would you cover reading the charts? Okay, no, he already went over that. But a really nice presentation, actually. It's too bad you missed it. It is recorded, though, so you can watch the recording on YouTube there, on our YouTube channel. I just wanted to mention, though, Fausto, I mean, like, it struck me years ago when I first met you, bringing you back to that story, that you're looking at a very, very simple trading plan. This is just the beauty of it. It is that you know exactly what you're looking for, and then you're trading it. So you know exactly what you're doing. Bookmap has kind of outlined that for you. I love the way you're using it. It's really great. Like really, really big, simple areas, and looking for price to go to those areas because that's where the liquidity is. Yeah, it's really nice.
No, it is, and Bruce, you do, like, I know we had you on Cybertrade University on Tuesday. People loved it because and you know what, they appreciate you when you come on because you know the platform so well. The problem at Bookmap, or what you might have, is that some of these people out there, they'll just jump in and like, okay, it's a great platform, but if someone's not showing them how to use it first, they'll end up doing more harm than good. And then what happens, because there's so many different styles out there, you need to listen to these people with their style first before you get into it, because then when Bruce comes in and he tells you, oh yeah, it does this, it does that, and does this. Some of you, Bruce, I just came back from Florida, and unfortunately, there was one person in there. I was doing an on-site. I shouldn't have been there in the first place. He didn't even know what the bid and offer was. So here I'm thinking about, like, why are you here? It was because it's a great program, great instructors, you were here. I'm like, I never even spoken to you before. I would never even let you come in here if you didn't know what the bid and offer was. And then it took me literally 5 seconds to explain it. The bid of the buyers, the right of the sellers, this is, these are the people. And he's like, oh, great. Now his next question is, how'd they get the money? I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible. But I have patience. So, using the Bookmap platform, you need someone that's going to hold your hand and show you how to simplify it first, and then you got to see other people using it, have that great confidence in it. You know what I mean? Because it does have a lot of bells and whistles on it, and you could see. I know there's a lot of people that are advancing here, like, you don't use this, you don't use that, you could use this. Yeah, I know what, and you could build on it so much, but you just keep it simple in the beginning, and you could see what those other things do before you jump into them.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. Like your style hasn't changed. In fact, like
Hasn't.
It hasn't. Like you're looking at, like, I forget what chart you showed before, but you showed the candlestick chart of, like, years, and then it was I guess it was CHPT, and then you're looking at that $20 area. But you're looking at that in relationship to much higher time frame, right? And
right.
Your plan was super simple. I'm buying it. I'm looking to see what it does at 19. You could see it busted through. It pulled back again. You could buy it again, and then trade it up to 20. Or just shy of it.
And you could see how the person keeps adding to it. On the right, now we're at 280,000.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not like pocket change. You know what I mean? You're talking like almost $5 million worth of stock,
right,
sitting there. It's not a joke. I mean, everyone here. How much you trading? A couple $1,000, maybe. What, 10, 20? I mean, you're talking about, there's a lot of money out there. So, and if you look on the right, if you work your way down to like 87, 73, what do you got? 1,000, 1,300. Fucking 280,000. You think you're smarter than that guy? I mean, so the Bookmap, like I said, when I was originally introduced to this thing, I'm like, this is everything that I've been using. And you know, no kidding aside, I don't use any other platform but this. That's it. I mean, everyone's using like the Ninja Trader, the Thinkorswims, this and that. No, oh, because it has this, it has that. This is all you need. All you need. You need this, and you need to have a good instructor, a good guru who knows what he's doing. And hey, it might not be me, you know, but Bookmap has a lot of great presenters, have a lot of great gurus that use it and very good at it. And you'll see we trade pretty much exactly the same, just maybe a different market and so on. But you know, if you start simple, get yourself in a room, see if other people make money doing it. Just do the $9 trial, you know, and go from there, and make a decision from there.
All right. Well,
any other questions, Bruce?
I've put your links into the chat for both Discord and for YouTube. So a couple times there, I think in each one. So yeah, if you guys are interested, you got the links there. You can reach out to Fausto, and also you got his email as well as the link to special deals that are exclusive to Fausto. So yeah, there you guys go if you're interested.
Yeah, no problem. So anyone, thanks for coming here. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it. Always like to talk to the Bookmap audience and love to talk to everyone online. And then all I could say is hope to see you all in the trading room. Just remember, you got to learn before you can earn. Great job. Is a great salary. You need to have the right tools, the right mentors. So, and if you're looking for free stuff, do yourself a favor. Just go back to work what you used to do. Nothing free in this world. All right. You want to make money, you have to spend money. And listen, you wouldn't work for free for anyone. Maybe your church or some charity. Maybe teaching your kids, coaching your kids' team or whatever it is. But to do something that pays this kind of a job and this kind of salary, you want to make sure you get involved with the right person, the people that do very well, and because you work very hard for that money, and it's not even the money too; it's your time. So, thanks for listening, everybody, and Bruce, thanks for having me, and everyone, happy trading, and hopefully see you all in the trading room. All right.
Thanks, Fausto.